Before we begin, welcome back to House of Cleopatra. If you love the mysteries of ancient power, the final choices of legendary queens, and the secrets history tried to bury, subscribe now. A new story rises every week. Tonight, we enter Cleopatra's final day, the most debated death in the ancient world. The death of Cleopatra is a story the world thinks it knows. A serpent, a bite, a queen collapsing in silks. But the truth is far more complex, far more political, and far more heartbreaking. Cleopatra's final day was not the end of a life. It was the last move of a strategist refusing to let her enemies define her. And in that moment, her death became more powerful than any victory she could have won in war. It begins in the mausoleum she had built long before the fall. The air was heavy with incense. The marble walls glowed with the fading light of the late Egyptian sun. And inside, Cleopatra stood surrounded by her jewels, her letters, her memories, everything she had ever been, everything she had ever lost. A queen without an army, a mother without her eldest son, a lover without her partner, a ruler in a world already claimed by Rome. After Antony died in her arms, Cleopatra's spirit fractured, but it did not break. She understood something Antony never could. Rome did not want her dead. Rome wanted her humiliated. Octavian dreamed of parading her through the streets of Rome in chains before crowds that would jeer and mock her. To him, she was a final trophy he needed to cement his power. But Cleopatra was not a woman born to kneel. Octavian visited her in her mausoleum. He approached her not as a conqueror, but as a man tiptoeing around a lioness. She stood before him still dressed in gold, her spine unbroken, her eyes sharp with fire. She spoke to him with the calm of someone who had nothing left to lose. And Octavian feared her. He feared her intelligence. He feared her presence. He feared the power she still carried without a throne. Because he understood something that terrified him, Cleopatra alive in Rome could become a symbol, a spark, a story that could ignite rebellion. Her charisma was a threat even in defeat. So he lied to her. He promised safety. He promised mercy. He promised her children would be safe. But Cleopatra had spent her entire life navigating the lies of powerful men. She saw the trembling at the edge of his voice. She saw the hunger in his eyes, and she knew, without doubt, that he wanted to destroy not just her body but her legacy. That night, Cleopatra returned to her mausoleum, guarded by Roman soldiers who watched her like a dangerous animal. Inside, she held the robe Antony had worn during their final days. She touched the walls carved with the stories of her ancestors. She spoke softly to the spirits of her forefathers, the pharaohs who ruled before her. And she understood what this final moment required. A queen must not die a prisoner. A queen must not die in chains. A queen must not let her enemies write her ending. She prepared herself with ritual precision. She bathed, dressed in pure gold linen, braided her hair, placed the crown upon her head. She transformed her body into a symbol not of defeat, but of sovereignty. And then comes a question that still haunts historians. How did Cleopatra truly die? The famous story says she held a small asp, hidden in a basket of figs. She allowed the serpent to bite her arm, ending her life quietly. But the truth is far more tangled. Some say the Ask story was Roman propaganda, a dramatic tale to entertain the masses. Some say Cleopatra used a poisoned needle hidden in her hairpin, a silent weapon that left no marks. Some say she used a vial of toxin known only to her royal physicians. And some, the boldest, say Octavian ordered her assassination once he realized she was preparing her own death, afraid she would rob him of his final triumph. In the quiet of her mausoleum, Cleopatra was not alone. Her loyal servants, Iris and Charmian, stood by her side. They had served her since childhood. They would not leave her now. One by one, they prepared themselves for the afterlife, choosing loyalty over survival. Their deaths were not acts of despair, they were acts of devotion. When the Romans forced open the door to Cleopatra's chamber, they found a scene that chilled even hardened soldiers. Cleopatra lay on her golden couch, serene as a goddess, crowned in royal linen, the faintest smile on her lips. Iris was dead at her feet. Charmian, barely alive, adjusted her queen's crown before collapsing beside her. The guard, stunned, whispered, "Was this well done, Charmian?" And her final breath answered, perfectly fitting for a queen descended from kings. Octavian stared at Cleopatra's body, realizing she had beaten him in the only battle that mattered, the battle for her dignity. She denied him the spectacle he craved. She denied him the chance to break her spirit. She denied him the ability to parade her like a trophy. In her death, Cleopatra won. Octavian ordered her burial beside Antony, but not out of respect, out of fear. He knew separating them would ignite legends. Keeping them together would close the chapter cleanly. Yet the mystery remained. No serpent was ever found. No marks on her body were recorded in detail. No official Roman report explained how she died. And so her final act became one of history's greatest enigmas. Cleopatra's death marked the end of an age. With her, Egypt's last royal bloodline vanished. With her, Alexandria's golden era faded. With her, Rome became an empire under Octavian, now Augustus. She lost the kingdom, but she won eternity. For 2,000 years, her final moment has been whispered, debated, dramatized, and every retelling, every painting, every legend proves one truth. Cleopatra's death was not the quiet end of a defeated queen. It was a final masterpiece of a woman who controlled her destiny until her last breath. Here, in House of Cleopatra, her final act lives not as tragedy, but as triumph. If this episode moved your spirit, subscribe now. Next week, another legend rises, mysterious, powerful, and unforgettable.